This is Loudon Gaming with another video here. I recently just posted a video of me making my uh, Conqueror of Time video game for Steam. Um, the game's not done, but it's on Steam for wishlisting right now, and there's actually a demo as well on Steam. So I just thought I would, as I'm working on some of these, some more programming and uh, just adding more content to the game. Figured I would just, you know, record myself. Why not? So here's Unity, and here's the my game here, and you'll notice that there's not much on the scene. The only thing that you really see is the canvas. If I just kind of close that, yep, that's it. That's all there is. All the game objects are created during runtime, so I don't have any game objects. Um, as far as the visuals in the scene at all, I do have a game object called Game Manager, uh, and one called Game Data. So what I'm going to do today is just show how to add a new enemy to the game, and it's actually pretty easy. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my resource files. And in my resource files, I have something called sprites. And under the sprites, I have something called entities. And in the entities, I have a character spreadsheet. So let me go to the sprite editor. And you cannot see that, so let me just zoom in. Now, I have these are actually all the drawings I did for the original Game Jam, but I did not include all these in the demo. So let's take a look at an enemy we can make. I don't think I used the giant wasp. So here's my sprites, and they all have a different name. And so this one's called Giant Wasp. I use lowercase for this because I'm going to use this string here for the game to find this sprite. So let me show you how that's kind of done. If I go to Visual Studios, and let's see, let me go to the map controller. So in this procedure right here, maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. This is called the setup item sprites. And really it's not just items, it's just all entity sprites. That would probably be a better name for it. We're creating an array of sprites. We're getting an array of sprites from the resources. We're going to load all of them from that resource file, uh, everything that's called entities. Um, and then from there, we're actually going to loop through all the sprites we just loaded and add them to a dictionary called map sprites and just add it based upon the name and the sprite. So we also do that for, let's see, animations, and we do that for the shaders. These are the different folders. The shaders are materials, not sprites. The animations are the animation controllers. So I create all the animations in Unity, and then I can load them. Uh, because again, I have no game objects that are being made pre-hand. So no not really. I have a few prefabs for UI stuff, but no real prefabs for most of the graphics of the game. So anyways, let's go to how do we create a entity. I do have a system called Create Entity System. It is kind of complicated, and it has a dictionary of entity templates and part templates, and these are all loaded into from an XML file, and then it creates these templates that are all string based and kind of stores the string data. And then when you go to actually creating the entity, it does some, oh man, what's it called? Refactoring. You use refractions here to kind of create your classes based upon those HTMLs. A little bit complicated. You'd probably have to look into refractions, or sorry, not refractions, reflections. So let's look at the XML file, and here's all the data for just anything. Now, starting off, I have a base kind of entity for most things, so I called it a thing. I think the creators of Atom for one of the roguelike celebrations, they kind of go over their entity systems, and I think they called their thing a thing as well. So it's a thing. And things can have a part called physics, which deals with line of sight, movement cost, like if you're moving through it. I don't know if physics have anything else. I mean, I could add more things to it. Uh, and then I just added all the resistances here for a thing. I could have added all the stats, but I just did the resistances for everything here. And that's it. And now we're heading into the map tiles. So we have a floor, and the floor takes a template of a thing. So when it creates this entity, it first creates an entity template. It's actually going to start with taking everything from the thing and adding it to a list of parts. And then after it does all that, it's going to continue from here. Now, if you look at the floor, this also has a part called physics. And what this will do is if it ever finds that this part was already there from a template, it overwrites what it was and uses this one instead. So instead of having the thing, which is probably the same, the physics was false and zero, a lot of them, will change this to true and change the movement cost. For example, a wall uh, does physics and it changes it to true as well. But let's also look at another part called the sprite info. And all this does is keeps a string of the sprite name, floor, as well as any kind of animation that game object might use. Usually these game objects are ones that just loop over and over again. So here's the wall, the sprite name's wall. Here's water. So here's an example where it uses the water animation to animate the sprite. It also has like a different move cost, 0.5, which means you can move in it, but it's going to cost a certain amount of movement points. Uh, it's basically going to affect your turn order. All right, so now we're in the player characters. This is for the ninja. Um, if you're the ninja, if you're the cowboy, if you're the robot, if you're a superhero, they all have different stats. And these stats are different than the stats for if they were an enemy. So that's why I have to have separate data for if you're the player as a robot versus if you were fighting a robot. But most of these things are the same things that you would use. The only difference is there's a part called level, and this is what's keeping track of the player's level. So now we're down to the enemies. Uh, this is just a template enemy I was using. So let's just copy the zombie. Control C, Control V. Whoops, Control C, Control V. Whoops, what happened? Let me try that again. Control C, Control V. All right. So let's change the name to Giant Wasp. And we're going to leave it as a thing. The sprite info, we'll just change that to uh, Giant Wasp. It's important to spell these things correctly. That's why for my sprite names, I just do everything lowercase with no spaces. The animation name is just going to be character, um, which all that animation is the character like moving to show kind of like it's attacking and moving like an up and down motion when it moves. Um, Physics will be the same. It will be have an AI, and the AI is hostile as true. I actually don't use this anywhere, but um, if I wanted an enemy that was not hostile to begin with, I could then code that in. But in this game, there isn't anything that's not going to be hostile to you. The only thing that would change is if you charm them, and then at that point, I think it does some other code anyways. All right, so here's the fun part: is going through all the stats, and the max stat is 20. Strength. I changed these from the demo, so if you're playing the demo, I think it was melee attack and range attack. I changed it to strength and dexterity, and part of that being I wanted um, I wanted to kind of change the way you upgrade your hit points. So originally, hit points you could upgrade that every time you leveled up if you wanted to. I took that away. Instead, your hit points are affected by your strength. And the reason why I did that is I'm just playing the game. I found that um, range was a lot better than the melee, um, which kind of makes sense because you're being attacked by a lot of things. You don't want when you're doing melee, it's easy to get surrounded. A lot of characters are kind of melee characters are trying to move closer to you. So I figured to kind of help balance that is strength would be tied into your hit points. So as you're leveling up strength, because you want to be a melee attacker, um, it would also increase your health points. And so by leveling up your dexterity, it's not going to. Another thing I did was when you level up, your hit points aren't automatically back to max. I still need to play test that more because I think it does make the game harder. But I've added a ability that you can purchase when you level up that allows you to um, get fully healed on a level up. So anyway, so let's go to the strength of the wasp. Probably um, now the wasp is probably going to be a melee attacker. So let's just add 2 to it. And let's add 0. What I could do is look at, so the zombie is a 1 for attacking. That's kind of how, I don't have like a formula, and I need to maybe come up with something that says, hey, do I want this to be a level 1 character or enemy? Do I want to be a level 2 enemy, and so on, and what should be a good stats for it? Um, I don't have that. I just kind of like, here's a zombie. Zombie's level 1, so if base level 2 might be all right. Speed, we could probably make the wasp a little bit faster. Zombies are pretty slow. Um, the ninja, compared to other things, the ninja is a 5, or wasp as fast as zombies, or I mean, as ninjas. Yeah, sure, we'll do 6. Armor stat, it's not going to have any armor. Dodging, so this is where probably the wasp was hard to hit. So the dodge for a ninja was 5. Let's make it 6. So you can see the wasp is a little bit better than a ninja, really. The ninja has a dexterity of 5. I might need to change that. So dexterity, notice it's at 0. I need to go back through it. Dexterity affects your I've added critical hits now. So dexterity does affect your, no, 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 no. Dexterity affects your dodge a little bit. So strength helps um, with hit points. Dexterity helps with your dodge. So, so I could add, some more. Now it's not much. It really doesn't matter for the wasp here, because it just does like a 0.5, I think, adding to your dodge. So if I wanted more dodge for this, like if I go to the ninja has a 5 for the dodge, dexterity is a 5, so that's like a 2.5 added. So it's really a 7.5 for the ninja. Um, I could probably lower this. Maybe just make it a 3. All right, so again, it would probably be better if I had like a spreadsheet where I just type in a level and it would just kind of give me some base idea of what I should put it at. Let's just do base value 10, and that's pretty much it. Now, the zombie has a bleed attack, so we will get rid of that. But maybe instead of a bleed attack, we had a poison attack. So we just type in poison attack. It has a 50% chance of hitting for 5 turns. Um, this would be the amount of damage. So the base value is 5 for the XP. Let's just leave that alone. Let's change this to maybe a 50%. Maybe I'll increase this a little bit. I can make the wasp a little bit tougher by having that extra poison. All right, so now um, this right here could probably be done better, but I'm hand typing. I'm basically hard coding the description for everything instead of um, writing some kind of script that could handle descriptions for whatever you add to it. Um, so just to be consistent, again, I can just go down to the snake. Um, and I don't know if this works like that. Just copy that. Go back to the wasp. Get rid of these. Poison. So we're going to say that 50% chance of poison. Then, yeah, let's just say 3. 3 points of damage. Start the turn. 5 turns. All right, let me save that. And that's all you have to do. I don't have to create a prefab or anything. I don't have to, you know, change any of the stats, or if I want to look at other stats, like if you're using a bunch of prefabs for this, you have to click on each individual one and then look at in the inspector all the data that you added to it. I can just scroll down, and I guess maybe that's just as long, but I can do Control F and find what I'm looking for. Um, so that's not all that's done right now. There is a wasp, but my random generator doesn't know that there are giant wasps that you should just be able to add now. So this is where I'm going to go to my random table generator. So right now, this random table is called level 1 enemies, and it has these choices, and each of them have a different weight. So let's say I want to add the wasp to the first level. All you gotta do is add that, type in the correct name, and the weight, let's just say it has a weight of 100. So hopefully we should see this enemy. So here's the main menu. turn that down, turn all that down. We'll leave all that on. And we're going to start a new run. We'll use the superhero. I like to use superhero because it has the power of flying and I don't have to worry about, um, the penalties from the terrain. So it treats like the water, it treats it like any other tile. The grass treats it like any other tile. So here's the start of the game. As you can see, I have some grenades here because I was testing things with grenades. So that's why I have them right away. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to toss it. So I added a little indicator here to show you how big it is. Let me just throw it here on myself. Boom. All right, so I took some burn damage. I don't have animation for the fire yet, but here's the fire. If it was next to a crate, it would spread, or if it was next to grass, it would spread, but it's not. I'm burning. I have no animations yet to indicate that I'm burning, but I'm at 87 if I move again. So I've decreased because I'm on fire. Just doesn't show it. I need to fix the where it shows you the information for what spawns from here. And here we go. We got our wasp. And XP is 10. Damage is from 3 to 4. The poison is 50% chance to poison. Blah, blah, blah. It also lets you know that it has a future. So it doesn't have a past. So I'm in the present now. It doesn't have a past. The reason why it doesn't have a past is because it just spawned from in the present. So, but it does have something in the future. Let me kind of move and see if I get poisoned. There you go. I'm poisoned. 50% chance. I have that little squiggly line, so I do have effects for the poison. And that's all it took to make a enemy for my game. Thanks again. This is Loudon Gaming, and I will see you next time.